Hello lovely humans, and welcome back to my channel. In this week's video, we are going to be doing one of the most highly requested DIYs ever. And that is, of course, I mean, you already saw the title. It is a balloon art tutorial. Now, I have already done one of these. I did it for a styled shoot at the, oh my gosh, I think in August of 2018 for a styled shoot that we did. And I stinking loved this arch so very much, and so did you guys. You guys definitely took the comment section and were like, how do we do this? We need a DIY. And I did it. Today's the day. Today is definitely the day that we're gonna break it down. And I almost feel guilty making a video about this. I do, because it is so immensely easy that, like, I feel like just about anybody could do it. I'm like, really and truly, this is one of the simplest DIYs that you can do for your wedding day, or heck, like I ended up doing it last week because it was my son's birthday and I needed to make this video, so I figured it was like a twofer type deal. But you can make this for just about anything. A birthday party, an engagement party, a bridal shower. You could do it for your wedding day. They're that stinking easy. So without further ado, let's just jump right on into it. Real quick, I've been getting a lot of questions in the comment section down below about these lamps. If you guys are interested in how I made them, because yes, I made them and I'm very pleased with them, quite chuffed indeed, I will go ahead and leave a link to that video on my lifestyle channel, and I'll pop it up here as well if you want to go see how I did those and what plants we put in them, and yes, there. Okay, one thing I get a bunch of questions on anytime I do any sort of arch backdrop-y type tutorial is the copper framing that I have. And honestly, we just got the pipes at Lowe's and cut them ourselves because my husband is super handy. But if you don't have the proper tools on hand, you can get them cut on site at Lowe's or Home Depot to fit the overall desired size that you have. Super easy to put together. I don't even know if it's like video worthy. Really, it's just 5 feet wide by 8 feet tall. We got some angles at the top and at the bottom to put some feet in place. It's very easy. It's very, very easy. I think it was about $45 or $50 worth of copper materials to make that size backdrop. So now let's make ourselves a balloon arch, shall we? Okay. First supply, that 100-piece kit that I got off Amazon. It comes with a gold foil ribbon I didn't end up using, balloon glue, balloon tape, and a balloon tire thing that I ended up not using, a couple of Monstera leaves, and a small variety of colors and sizes of balloons. I did have quite a few leftover balloons from the arch that I made for our styled shoot, both these 24-inch balloons, some dark green ones, and some small clear ones. Okay, maybe I had a few more than that, but those are the ones that I ended up using. Just in case, I have my low heat glue gun because this is what I used last time. And of course, the balloon buddy. This saves your mouth. I've used an air compressor before, but I really much prefer this, especially because it's portable and you can do touch-ups when you get on site as well. And don't forget scissors and tape. I'm not gonna say I'm a balloon professional, but I did spend about 6 or 8 months working at a location called Partyland in Ladera Ranch, California, so I'd like to think that that those skills are now coming in handy. Oh, quick note, you may be tempted to use these balloon clips. Do not use them. They release the air, and although it's obnoxious to hand tie each and every single one, it will hold the air better. Do not do balloon clips, my friends. Trust me on this one. If Partyland taught me anything, its balloon clips are not effective. Random side note, don't make a balloon arch with press-on nails. They will not last. They will bend, and you will ruin your manicure. But hey, at least once my thumbnail was ruined, I ended up moving quite a bit faster because I was less worried about my nails. And then I powered through and made about half of the balloons that I thought I would need for the arch. I don't know what it is about the 24-inch balloon, but it just gets me excited. Okay. As I'm filling these, of course, I'm using a variety of colors and using a couple of the different sizes to make sure that I have some visual dimension when I start assembling it all. Assembly time. I grab my balloon tape and tape it to my arch. I realized that wearing a hat for this was not my wisest decision because you can't tell how I'm taping it, but I'm taping it. It's like, I'm sure y'all could figure out what it looks like behind the hat. Here's a wee bit of a close-up. It's not my greatest videography work ever, but there you go. You're welcome. That's what it looks like. It's taped to the copper pipe. There is a sticker showing on this side. It will be covered by balloons later, so I'm not that worried about it. I ended up going about halfway down on the right-hand side and all the way down on the left-hand side. The balloon kit that I got came with a 16-foot balloon tape, which ended up not being enough for me. So if you are doing something of this size, you may want to get a second roll of balloon tape. To anchor my display, I'm going to use my large green balloon in the upper left-hand corner, and then building up around it with a variety of shapes and colors. Here's a quick clip of what that balloon glue actually looks like. It reminds me of the glue adhesive tabs that you use when you're scrapbooking. I feel like that's kind of the best example I can give for that. I can't speak to how well the balloon dots, like the glue dots, would work when transporting, but I do know that the low temp glue gun worked fabulously. So if you are assembling offsite and then moving it, definitely use the glue gun. Quick close-up of the balloon tape. You pull the tail in through the larger hole and then slide it up to the smaller hole so it's locked in place. I think what makes a beautiful balloon arch is movement. You don't want it to be static. You don't want it to be a straight line. You don't want it to look like something you see at the county fair. You absolutely want it to have curves and movement. And that's why I really like these balloon glue dots or using a low temp glue gun, because then you can attach balloons to the top or sides of other balloons to add dimension and depth. You can also glue on balloons to cover up the mechanics of other balloons. So if there's a little tail hanging out, or if there's a little bit of pipe or tape showing that you want to cover up, just shove a balloon over it and no one will be any the wiser. This is something that I did with the balloon arch for our styled shoot, and I definitely wanted to do it this time around as well. I added on a little bit of a tail, so to speak, so an extra bit of garland that would drape off to the side, so it looked as though the balloons were spilling off the arch. Again, we're going for visual depth and dimension here, so adding that extra, 3 feet of balloons onto the right-hand side really does create visual interest. Another tip I picked up along the way, the 5-inch balloons can be very difficult to inflate. However, if you give them a little pull at the top when you're trying to inflate them, they will puff up very quickly. And always be sure to let out the extra air. We don't want elongated balloons. 1, it makes them harder to tie, and 2, it makes them more prone to popping because they are overfilled. And now for a few finishing touches. Just gonna go through with a couple extra balloons and either cover up the mechanics of what I've got going on or add a little bit more color balance. And you guessed it, just a teensy bit more movement in places that I feel like are too linear. And here we have it, guys, our completed balloon arch. As you can see, we've got some shape going on here. It's not linear, it's got curves, it moves in different ways. If I had more large green balloons, I would have used them. I think this balloon arch would have definitely benefited from at least 2 more large balloons, but because I only had the one, I ended up just gluing on additional balloons to create more bulk in a couple other locations. It would have been a lot easier with a couple of large balloons, but y'all already saw how many balloons I have. I did not need to go out and buy any more, okay? Okay. So work with what you've got. If you've got the opportunity to buy more big balloons, do it. But if you don't have them, just keep on gluing balloons on top of each other until you get the same visual weight and effect. So what do you think? That honestly took me like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, because I got a little distracted at a couple different points, but it was so simple. Now, some things to keep in mind if you decide to make this for yourself. Having multiple size balloons is key here. Like I said in my little voiceover bit, I do wish that I had a couple more large balloons. I think that size difference and that visual dynamic is so beautiful. In fact, I think I prefer the one that I made for our styled shoot a little bit more than I like this one. But like I said, I wasn't gonna go out and buy any more balloons. We were just using what we had on hand. And on the opposite end, making sure you use a bunch of small balloons as well, because then you just have this really fluid, cool looking design with so many different shapes and sizes to look at, as opposed to the county fair one. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's just not the vibe we're going for here. If you are making this for an event that's off-site, your wedding, baby shower, bridal shower, whatever it happens to be sure to section off your balloon tape. So like for my copper arch, it is not glued together, so I can take it apart and put it back together when I need to. That's something you're gonna wanna keep in mind if you're transporting a balloon arch like this. Make sure to put the tape into sections so you can take the pipes apart and reassemble them when you get to your final destination. Also, you might need a stronger tape than Scotch tape. I was just doing this in my house. This wasn't going anywhere. My 3-year-old did come in and kick it around a little bit and nothing really moved. So like that's a good sign. But if you are doing this and transporting it, you may want to go for something a little bit more heavy duty than that super flimsy clear tape. And a few last minute tips. Like I said earlier in the video, do not fill the balloons all the way. 1, it makes them a lot harder to tie, and 2, it makes them more prone to popping because you've stretched the latex so far that any gentle bump, push, or pinprick could cause them to pop. Although I'm pretty sure a pinprick would cause any balloon to, you get what I'm saying. If you are transporting it, be sure to bring spare balloons and a glue gun and or the balloon glue dots. You will have a few balloons that you've glued into place that will pop off in transit. That happened to me for our last arch when I drove it down to San Diego, but none of them popped along the way, so that was good. I just had to reattach them when I got there. It also helps to bring some spare balloons with you in case once you get it on site, you realize there's a couple holes that you need to fill in. And that's where that balloon buddy comes in handy, because it can go with you. I mean, like wherever you want to go, but like specifically to finish off the garland once you get there. And lastly, it can be made the day before. Now, I'm sure if there's a balloon artist watching this, they'd be like, no, there's a difference. I didn't notice one when I did it for our styled shoot. And I made the arch last Wednesday. Today's Monday, and that thing is still going strong. I mean, a couple of them are a little bit more sad looking. I would not make it that many days in advance, but you can make it the day before and it'll still look nice and fresh for your big day. Oh, and last little snippety tidbit, don't make it in a room where your pets go often, because then there's gonna be a lot of dog hair or cat hair stuck to the balloons. I learned this time, and I did it in a spot that like my pets didn't go as frequently, but last time I made it in like a hallway where they go all the time. And there was a lot of hair. Or you know, maybe just don't get tri-colored pets, because my dog is black, brown, and white, and my cat is black, brown, and white, so it was just not a good aesthetic move on my part, but I guess we'll keep them. So that's all we have for today, folks. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed today's video. It really is super simple. If you decide to make this for any event, tag us on Instagram. I would love to see your creations and your interpretation. It really is an inexpensive and easy DIY for your wedding day. Just make sure you have someone to transport it and set it up for you and fill in any of those gaps so you don't have to worry about it when you're getting glammed up to get hitched. If you haven't done so already, like this video and subscribe to this channel for more tips and tricks for the modern day bride. And until next week, bye guys!